Hey, what's up guys? It's Jamie here. Thanks very much for joining me in today's video. So there's a couple of principles you need to learn when you get into the online world, and I think without learning these principles, you're probably not going to have longevity in the game. And the reason why I say this is because I took the other way when I got started. And so to give a bit of a framework, a bit of a breakdown of what I did, basically I started with low ticket items. And a lot of people when they get into this business, they think, oh, well, I'll just start with low ticket because I've never sold anything high ticket before, so why would anyone buy from me? And if you think about it, when you learn a skill like sales, like marketing, like branding, it's something that is going to apply to any niche, to any industry, to any thing you do online, and even offline as well. Now, what I've got in my hand right here is a very nasty, shredded looking piece of paper that was actually in the back of my room for some time in a drawer and crumpled up. Now, this was actually written in 2015, and to paint a little bit of a picture for you guys, back at that time I was working in the corporate world. I was actually working for a company that was helping people into basically diplomas, and these things were sort of like 20 to 30K each. And the story goes that during that time, because I was in sales, we had to sell these diplomas, and during that time we had a record week. We're getting amazing leads coming through. They were fresh, they were happy, they were easy sales. And out of, I think, maybe 15 or 20 people that were in the office doing the sales part of it, there was actually only one person that wasn't making any sales that week, and that person was moi. Anyway, I am going somewhere with this, by the way. So after a week, like I say, record week, everyone's just like not even trying, the sales are coming. There's one person that made like 5 calls in a day and made 3 sales and just absolutely smashed it. And so it got to the end of the week and I was just frustrated, and basically the next week I had a meeting with my boss, and needless to say, they sat me down in a room like, Jamie, we love your work ethic, you're doing really well. Like, I was trying to make a lot of calls. I think I was making between 200 and 300 calls a day, just trying to like smash this out. And basically, we love your work ethic, but obviously something's not quite working for you. How can we fix it up? And thankfully, they're pretty cool about it. They didn't, put any pressure, but they were also quite conscious of the fact that if you got someone in sales and they're not making sales, probably not cut out for the role, right? So I was expecting to get fired. Now, here's the crazy thing that happened. I sat down after that meeting. It went for a couple of hours. They worked through a few things with me. One of my colleagues wrote on this piece of paper a framework, and it's something that I've used in every single sales environment ever since, and it is just absolute gold. Now, to continue on with the story, basically after lunch, I went for an hour and a half lunch. I was convinced I was fired anyway, to be honest. I really didn't care, and the care factor, I'd already resigned to the fact that I was probably going to get fired that day anyway, so I kind of didn't care. I took an hour and a half for lunch, came back, and I then went on to break the company sales record at that time, and I made 8 sales in about 4.5 hours. So kind of crazy, right? Now, here's a couple of takeaways for you guys. One is the framework, which I'm going to go through in a moment. The second part of it is, when you're in a sales environment, and I don't care if it's online, I don't care if it's like over the phone, I don't care if it's like in person, whatever, if it's $1 billion deal, if it's a $10 deal, if you are approaching it with a sense of desperation, like you need the sale, you need the bonus, you need the commission, whatever it is, guess what happens? You become Gil Gunderson, and if you don't know Gil Gunderson, he's the guy off The Simpsons. Oh, Gil needs to make a sale. Now, if you're approaching anything with that kind of frame of mind, what do you think is going to happen to the prospect? They're going to freak out. They'll be like, what do you want from me? Like, you're desperate. Something like, it smells weird. I'm out of here. And they bounce. And so in my case, the reason why I was able to turn my results around is because I kind of let go of the fact that I needed to make sales. I thought, who cares? I got nothing to lose. It's probably just going to be a little bit of fun. Might as well just enjoy myself. And bang, made a sale. First call, third call, made another sale, so on and so forth. So, like I say, 2 takeaways. One is the framework I'm about to go through. Second is, when you're in this environment and you're doing sales of any kind, don't be a desperate fuck. If you are desperate, you're not going to sell anything. You're going to be coming from a place of victimhood, and you're not going to be concentrating on what they need and what they want, and how you can help them with your product. Right, so with all that being said, thanks for joining me, by the way. Feel free to hit that subscribe button if you're into affiliate marketing, digital marketing, and all that sort of fun stuff. Now, the other thing I will say as well is that if you're at a place in your affiliate business where you're kind of sick of the bullshit, you've been struggling for a little while, maybe you're brand new, and you've been on Google, you're trying to find all this information, and all you get is like, make 5 cents listening to tunes and different things like that. I do have an opportunity. It's not going to be for everyone. In fact, I'll go so far as to say it's not going to be for most people because it involves work. Most people don't want to work, I'll be honest. And it involves a framework, and it's taken, I think the best example we had was a student who went from like 0 to 100K in 4 months. Sorry, it wasn't our student, but someone that was following this framework went from 0 to 100K in 4 months. One of our students actually did 35K in 3 months. He went from 5K in March, he then did 10K, and then he's just had a ripper month in May and made 23K, so doing really well. If you want to check that out, there's a link below. Like I say, it's probably not going to be for you, but like I say, if you are dedicated to making this stuff work, it is a no bullshit framework that a lot of people are loving. So anyway, what's the paper, Jamie? Just tell us what's on the paper. The secret scrolls, man. Shut up about that stuff. Yeah, I hear. Okay. So all it was, this guy is a bit of a ninja when it came to sales, by the way. So of course, if you've got someone that knows what they're doing, it kind of helps, right? So all it is, and I'm not going to show it to you because it's like, I don't even know if you can see it for starters, but I'll read it to you. It's probably going to make more sense. So intro, any part of any sales environment, of course, you're going to do an intro. So if you have a finite time, if you booked an hour with someone or 45 minutes, whatever the case may be, to do a sales presentation, you need to be very, very conscious of your time. And one of the great salespeople out there is, of course, Jordan Belfort, Wolf of Wall Street, so on and so forth. You guys know the story. But in his straight line persuasion, it's one of the things that he refers to. It's that whole thing of not allowing the conversation to deviate too far off topic. Because if you do that, then the dynamic of the conversation starts to change, and quite often you actually get sold by their beliefs and whatnot, right? So go into an intro, hey, how's it going, what's going on? And basically what you want to do is try and ask what questions, not how. So if you ask what questions, like what's happening, what are you doing at the moment, what are you trying to achieve, what have you been trying, is that working for you, things like that. And that's the intro. And this is actually, I've kind of skipped ahead actually, but that's more of the discovery. But the intro, of course, is just, hey, how's it going, what's happening? But then you're going into the discovery, and those two kind of blend into each other pretty easily, right? And that's when you're asking why do you want to achieve that? Why do you want to have those goals? What does it mean to you if you achieve them? And then you start bridging into the tie down. So you can either work out their direct buying motive, and that could be like, why do you want 10K per month? Well, why? What's it going to do for you? What are you going to do when you get that cash? Like, well, I'm going to spend more time out in the garden. Great. Well, it's a surface level thing. You want to dig deeper than that. So what's being out in the garden going to give to you? I just want to, it'll just give me more time. Okay, more time. Well, what are you going to do with that time? Like I say, I'm in the garden, but it must feel pretty good to be in the. Yeah, it's going to feel good. And well, actually, what? I've always wanted to take up figure skating. I was going to do that as a young man, and thought, why not? And got in the corporate world, and now I'm stuck, and I'm going to go back to figure skating. Great. So now you're getting somewhere, right? And you're digging that out. What's their motive? What's the immediate pain that buying your thing can help solve, right? That's the main thing. How to make you feel. This is a great question, by the way. How to make you feel if you achieve that? Sense of relief. And so if you imagine that in a sales process, that you've got pain and pleasure. So it's either moving away from pain, that's the current situation, moving towards fulfillment, pleasure, whatever you want to call it, right? And so if you are eliciting those responses, those emotions in people, and then you're saying, well, how would it feel if you got the other thing, which is moving away from that, it raises these emotions that, what, if I didn't have to go back to a boss again, it would make me feel incredible. Of course it would. Who wants to work for a boss? No, that's a lie. I've had some amazing bosses in my time, but I don't really want to go back to the corporate world. So how would it make you feel? You're putting an emotional attachment into what it is that they're trying to achieve, right? You do the takeaway. This is a really, really powerful thing, and it's basically where you're removing the item. So you've presented it, in a very sort of loose sense of the word. And this is towards the end, and basically you want to take it away. Because whatever it is you have, the end goal is not to sell every single person into it. Like, a doctor's not going to just prescribe any old medication for the patient. They're going to do this diagnostic process, and this is what this is, diagnosis. You're diagnosing whether the product you have is going to help them out, and you need to kind of be prepared to walk away from the deal. And that's something, going back to my comment before about the old desperate gills, that's what ties into that, right? So, get them to sell you. So how would you do that? Now, it really depends on the product. Of course, it doesn't, there's no two shoes fits all, or whatever that saying is. But one of the things I use is, and it's quite a truthful statement, we literally, as part of SAA, we don't actually allow everyone to join. Sure, anyone can click on that link below and purchase, but we don't keep everyone, because not everyone's going to be well suited to the community. And in that case, they get booted out, and we give them back their tiny investment and whatnot. So what I do say is things like, we don't accept everyone into the community. Like, why do you feel you'd be a good fit? Things like that. And those types of questions, like I say, it actually puts the onus on them. They need to kind of work out, like I say, I'm keen. I hate my job. I hate my life. I want to move away from that. It sucks. I want the 10K per month. I want to go retire to the Bahamas. I want to sip Mai Tais on the beach. And then the last part of it is the close. Now, of course, the close can come in many different ways, but realistically, you want to ask permission. And you want to say something like, listen, after everything you've told me, I think we'd be able to help you out. I'd love to tell you about the product, and you can work out whether it's something that you'd like to proceed with. How does that sound? And then they'd go, cool, sounds great. Tell me more. That's what I'm here for. And you go, great, well, here's the product. Here's what it can do for you. And this is how it's going to help you grow your business or your personal whatever. And that's it. And then you stay silent. Awkwardly, sometimes, by the way. You stay silent, and then guess what? They go, and they go, okay, cool, I've got some questions. How do you do that? How's that going to affect that? Blah, blah. And sometimes this is where the objections come from. Okay, so the objections are fine. Don't worry about objections. Everyone has them. Completely fine. First rule of objection handling, by the way, this is not a full sales thing, by the way. It's just going over that sheet. But the first rule of objection handling is you want to acknowledge that it exists. You don't want to kind of, what? No. You don't want to deny it. You don't want to get their back up. You want to acknowledge it. So if someone, because having an objection quite often is them exposing a vulnerability. If you think about it, right? So an example, let's use time. I don't know, like I'm, work 12 hours a day. I've got 17 kids and 3 wives, and I just don't know if I'm going to get time to do that. So you wouldn't go, what, you don't have 2 minutes? Psh. Of course you don't say that, yeah, look, I understand we all live really busy lives, but if I could, suggest something, blah, blah, and then you go into your rebuttal, basically. But like I say, you want to acknowledge that. Anyway, after all that, they're still silent. And then they'll hopefully go, how much? And you say, a couple of ways you can do it. You can either stack the value first. So you're going to get my help, you're going to get XYZ, you're going to get blah, blah, blah. And total value for that, you're looking at probably about $50 million. But if we get you started today, it's just, and of course there's iterations on that. I've got a few other things I say from time to time, which I'm happy to teach you if we ever connect. But this is something you experiment with. It's something you play with. I think once you get to that point, sometimes even it's just a simple, well, let's get you started, works as well. That's I've had that numerous times, works. And sometimes just the assumptive, cool, well, I'll plug you in now, should I? Things like that. So you got to play around with that. Anyway, like I say, one of the most important things you can learn about anything online is sales. So hopefully you got some value from this. Smash that heart button, drop a comment, let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.